When this man, Sam, went into the woods, he wasn't prepared to find an animal who would need his help. To make matters worse, it was a wild animal that could attack him if he made the slightest mistake. However, Sam threw caution away and saved the animal. A few years later, he found himself in a big mess, and you won't believe who came to the rescue. Sam had a pretty wife, Charlene, and he often called her his lucky charm because ever since they had tied the knot, he had received lots of good news. A few months after they got married, Charlene rushed home one day, holding a flyer in her hands. "Hello, my love. Why are you so happy?" Sam asked, circling his wife in his arms. She showed him the flyer. It was about an upcoming mountain biking competition, and the winners would get lots of gifts. "You think you could win this?" Charlene giggled, and Sam screamed, "Yes, I will bring home the gold medal for you, I promise." The next morning, Sam got up early, mounted his mountain bike, and rode to a nearby wilderness area so he could practice. But nothing could have prepared him for what he would soon encounter. After hours of riding, Sam got down from his bike and decided to take a walk around the wilderness. About 5 minutes into this, he suddenly sighted something that made him freeze. It was a huge she-wolf. The animal fixed her eyes on Sam, who immediately started sweating because he was frightened. "Don't panic," Sam muttered. Then he lowered his head as a sign of submission. That way, the wolf wouldn't see him as a threat. Sam fought the urge to run and started backing away slowly. But after taking a few steps, he noticed something strange. The wolf didn't move an inch. Why didn't she even try to stand up? Sam wondered, and that was when he noticed that the wolf was caught in a huge trap. His heart raced just at the thought of the amount of pain the poor animal was enduring. Just then, the wolf tried to free herself, and Sam noticed that her teats were full. That meant two things. She had recently given birth, and there were hungry pups somewhere desperately waiting for her. The sight of Sam got the wolf riled up, and she struggled to get herself out of the trap, but she only made matters worse. "Hey, careful, I mean no harm," Sam said as he slowly approached the animal, but the beast got even more aggressive. It didn't take long for Sam to realize that he was embarking on a deadly mission. So he stopped walking towards the wolf and sat on the ground. He knew he needed to earn the wolf's trust before trying to save her, but how exactly was he going to do that? After pondering for a few minutes, Sam came up with a plan. Judging from the wolf's fresh wounds, he could tell that she had only been trapped for a few days, which meant her pups were likely still alive, so he went in search of them. Luckily, he found the mother wolf's footprints, and it led him to a den, but to his greatest surprise, the den was empty. Perhaps the pups got attacked by another animal, Sam thought, and he felt his eyes burn with tears. That was when it dawned on him that he had developed a strong connection to the mother wolf, and it hurt him beyond words to think that while she was caught in a trap, she had also lost her babies. Sam was still deep in thought when he suddenly heard faint howls. At first, he thought he was imagining it, but then he heard it again. At that moment, Sam jumped to his feet. The howl sounded faint and immature, so Sam knew the cries were from young wolves and maybe even the she-wolf's pups. Sam started imitating the howling sound, hoping the young wolves would come out of their hiding place. "Hello!" he screamed and clapped his hands just to get their attention. Then, 10 minutes later, 4 tiny pups walked out of a spruce close to the den and ran straight to Sam. They even suckled his fingers. "Good boy, good girl." Sam patted them gently, and once again, tears streamed down his eyes. However, this time around, they were joyful tears. Now that he had the pups with him, he was more determined to save the she-wolf and reunite her with her pups. Sam picked up the pups, placed them carefully in his bag, and went back to the wolf. As soon as she saw Sam, she started howling and struggling to free herself. It was as if she could tell that Sam had her pups. Just then, Sam released the pups out of his bag, and they rushed towards their mother. The young man thought that now that he had brought her pups to her, that she would trust him. How wrong he was. When he tried to move close to the mother and her pups, the wolf growled. It seemed now that her pups were with her, she was protective of them, and that made her more aggressive. Sam was confused. Had he made a big mistake bringing the pups to their mother? He felt this way at first, but upon seeing how much they enjoyed their mother's presence, he knew he had done the right thing. Some hours later, Sam's stomach started growling and he decided to get something to eat, not only for himself but for the she-wolf too. Perhaps that would make her open up to him, he thought. Luckily, he found a dead moose, cut some pieces and threw them in front of her. Sam watched with a big smile on his face as the wolf devoured the food. When the sky started getting dark, Sam bid the animals goodbye and ran home to his wife. He explained everything to her and she encouraged him to save the animal. The next day, Sam rushed to the forest, and much to his delight, the wolves were still there. As soon as the pups saw him, they rushed towards him. It was as if they recognized him and felt safe with him, but the she-wolf still growled at him. Anyway, Sam didn't care. He was ready to wait until the wolf trusted him. With his wife's approval, Sam set up a tent a few feet away from the animals to spend the nights there. Over the next few days, Sam gave various meals to the wolf. On the third day, he noticed that the wolf stopped growling whenever her pups came over to his tent to play. As each day passed, Sam moved closer to the wolf. He also played with her pups, showing her that he meant no harm. On the fifth day, when Sam took another step closer to the wolf, he noticed that she tried to show him her belly. Woot! That's a wolf's way of showing affection. Sam took that as a sign that the wolf wouldn't harm him, and he moved closer to her. With only a few feet between them, Sam stretched his hands and touched the wolf's trapped legs. And although she growled, she didn't try to stop him. Carefully, Sam pressed down the release catch. And yippee! The wolf was finally free. Now what? Sam thought. Was this the point where he was meant to say his last prayer? Not really, because the wolf did something amazing. All of a sudden, she rubbed against Sam. After a few seconds, she broke the embrace, then walked away with her pups. A few seconds later, she turned back, looked at Sam, and let out a loud growl. Sam took that as a sign of appreciation, so he waved at the animal and fought his way out of the wilderness. He thought he would never see the she-wolf again, but fate had an entirely different plan. 4 years later, Sam returned to the woods again to prepare for another mountain biking competition. This time, it was an international competition. Once there, his eye spotted something familiar. It was the trap that had caught the she-wolf's foot years ago. Although it was now rusty, it made Sam reminisce on the beautiful memories he had shared with the wolf and her pups. So he decided to check the den where he had picked up the pups. Perhaps they would still be there, Sam thought, and ran there as fast as his legs could carry him. Sam was a few feet away from the den when a huge male bear suddenly dashed out of a nearby spruce. The bear's eyes were merciless as it rushed towards Sam. The frightened man quickly climbed a tree, but the bear didn't give up and started climbing the tree too. Sam was so scared. This wasn't how he envisaged his final moments. What would happen to Charlene and the beautiful daughter they just had? Just then, Sam let out a howl. He howled as loud as he could. Then, a few seconds later, he heard another loud growl. Looking down, Sam saw 3 wolves running towards the tree. As soon as the bear saw the wolves, it jumped down from the tree and ran away. Seeing that the bear was gone, the wolves, except one, went back to their den. The one who stayed behind stared at Sam with so much affection in her eyes. Sam recognized the wolf right away. It was the same wolf he had saved 4 years ago. Sam got down from the tree and waved at the wolf. Then she let out a loud howl, as if to greet him before walking away. Sam also descended the mountain and went home to his family. Although it's not known whether the story is true or not, I am glad Sam got to experience something unique with the wolf. What would you do if you came across a wild animal in need? Share your thoughts in the comment section. See you next time.